So retail sales, they rose, but they did slow kind of over the previous month. They rose to a seasonally adjusted 0.3% in February over January. And this, what they kind of saw is consumers spent more on gasoline and vehicles. What they cut back on is online and discretionary spending. So we're already seeing these high gas prices kind of start to pinch the wallets of consumers. And they're having to choose where they need to spend that money. Remember, money is a limited resource for most people. So, if you can't spend it, or if you have to spend it somewhere else, you can't spend it, buying a new fun gadget on Amazon.
So now, of course, some are insisting there will be a recession, but it's not 100% correlated. So it's only about 80%. So there's still a possibility we don't fall into a recession. So why would this time be different? Well, there are a lot of weird things that have gone on in our economy because of the pandemic, and a lot of crazy things that we've never thought we'd seen before or would see ever again, like this big inflation. And then also, while we were having an economic slowdown in January a wee bit, and then inflation was starting to hurt the economy, then this war started with Putin and Russia going off into Ukraine. And of course, they got blamed for the oil price, but that was already up much before the war, and they got blamed for inflation. That went up much before the war as well. Another really interesting thing that has been developing is with inflation kicking in the last couple, maybe 6 months or so, Chris, we've seen the evidence of shrinkflation. We can thank a couple of our good friends for that comment. Shrinkflation is where you still pay the same amount for a certain good, but you get less of it. Or you get a cereal box that is a little smaller for the same price. So they're shrinking the units and charging the same amount. So shrinkflation is happening. It's just another form of inflation, a unit price inflation, essentially. And so that's really been a big issue. So the last month or so has been very good. So all the things that we remember about American society prior to the pandemic are starting to come back. In fact, recently the New York mayor kept masks on children in schools, and boy, a lot of backlash on that. So the public may have been okay with some of the restrictions in the beginning of the pandemic because they were nervous, but now people aren't about that anymore. They really want the country to open up and go back to normal. And if there's pockets of problems, deal with them, but not interrupt the entire society and put people out of work and things like that. So, but it's great to see, Chris, the world's coming back to life. And that's great. It's going to be a great summer in America. Let's hope that we don't fall into a deep recession.